Hey, y'all. So it is Angela Smith of Anjanelle, where I firmly believe that your shape or size does not determine your fly. Now, look, as you guys know, all of my courses are free, but I wanted to do this video for those who are touching a sewing machine for the very first time, or those who haven't touched a sewing machine in a very, very long time and need their skills sharpened. Okay, so I'm using a Brother LX 3125. I purchased this machine from Walmart. My machine may be older than yours because I've had this machine for about 10 years and using this thing faithfully, okay? Right here, you have all of your different stitches. So you'll see number 6, number 7, 8, 9, and 10. It shows a really tight, small stitch. It gets a little bigger, little bigger, little bigger, and the biggest stitch is number 10. Now you're probably wondering about 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 11 through 14, and why those don't have little pictures like that. Well, there is a diagram on every machine, regardless of the model that you're using, and that diagram tells you what each number is. Basically, I don't think they could put all of those pictures in this little bitty nozzle without confusing you, okay? So you have different like zigzag stitches, from a tighter one to a little bit looser, a little bit looser. I love number 5. That's kind of like the perfect middle. It's not too tight and it's not too loose. Then number 1, there's actually A, B, C, and D. You'll learn that. I'll teach that. But this is associated with a buttonhole. It's for you to do a perfect square for you to cut out like you see with buttons and garments that have buttons and buttonholes. And then just like some fancy little zigzag stitches down here. This nozzle right here is called a backstitch, okay? And that's what I'm actually going to teach you about in this video, is how to use your backstitch. Now, hopefully you already have your machine threaded. If not, look into your instruction manual that came with your machine, okay? That's where I want you to learn how to thread it, because everybody's machine is different and I want this video to reach as many people as possible, okay? Last thing is your floor pedal. I'm not going to pick that up, but you have a floor pedal associated with your machine, and just like a car, it determines the speed. You don't want to go too fast. You don't want to go too slow, okay? So you want to just put light pressure on it when you're using it, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. I have my machine threaded. I have blue thread in here in my bobbin, and you can see that, my blue thread. All right, and I zoomed it in so you can't see my face, but what I want you to do, for someone who is just touching the sewing machine for the very first time, I need you to know how to do a straight stitch. Yes, you heard that correctly. How to do a straight stitch. Before you can do anything, y'all, you have to understand how to do just a regular basic stitch, okay? So let's get into it. I have just some fabric here. I picked denim. Get you something a little bit stiff, not anything with stretch. So like a cotton or a denim would be perfect for this exercise. You're going to put your fabric underneath here, and I want you to line the side of the fabric with the side of the foot here, okay? So it should go just like that. And there's a little nozzle right here. This lets your foot up and down. If you look at my hand right here, and if you look at my hand right here, up and down. So very basic. You want to hold the string when you first get started and really light on your pedal. Oops, I have my zigzag stitch on. Let me change it. I'm going to go to number 10, which is the loosest stitch. So we're going to start that over, okay? You're going to hold your thread just to start it out. Very light. You're going to start stitching. Now, this is what I want you to understand. This backstitch nozzle that I showed you this nozzle right here, and it may look a little bit different on your machine, but for the most part, they're all the same. You want to backstitch at the beginning and end of every single stitch that you do. Every single stitch. This is what's going to keep your garment together. If you do not backstitch, all of your seams can come apart. Okay? So what you want to do is, I just went, maybe 3 stitches. Then I'm going to hold this down. Trying to get the whole machine. Let me back my camera up a little bit. There we go. You're going to hold this down, and guess what it's going to do? Watch my foot. It's going backwards. Let it go. It's going to go back forward. And all I want you to do is a straight stitch, lining this up. Hold your fabric. We're not pulling it. We're not pushing it through. You're just using your hand as a guide, okay? So you're just sitting your hand on there and let the machine do what it does. And I want you to just practice a straight stitch all the way down to the bottom of your fabric. Go all the way down, one single stitch. Then when you make it to the end, hold it down, backstitch, come back forward, lift your nozzle, and you are going to spin the dowel and let your needle free. And then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut it. The machines nowadays has a little notch where you can cut your thread. So this is what I'm expecting of you. Just a straight stitch. If you look here, this is a back stitch. This is what's going to hold it together. Here at the bottom, you see that? That should be at the beginning and the end. I want you to do as many straight stitches as you can. So I want you to line your foot up, go all the way down and do this stitch. Then I want you to line your foot up on that stitch and do another stitch right alongside it, as straight as you can. And keep doing that. That is your exercise. Once you fill this completely up, whatever size fabric you decide to work with, I want you to flip it. And I want you to do the same thing. So I need to see nothing but squares when you show me your stitch work, okay? That's your homework. I got some amazing things planned for you guys. So I am signing out. I need you to get to work.